give her opinion of the two men, Gladstone and Disraeli. She said, you know, when I spent the evening with Mr. Gladstone, I was absolutely convinced that here was one of the most charming men I'd ever met. One of the brightest, one of the best informed human beings on the face of this earth. I was convinced he was an absolute genius. When I spent the evening with Mr. Disraeli, I was convinced that I was one of the nicest people, that I was one of the brightest people, that I was one of the best informed people, that I was one of the friendliest people anywhere. It doesn't take anything else to understand why Mr. Disraeli was her favorite, does it? The way you see people is the way you treat them. A key in winning relationships is to let the other person feel important. Put them in a position where they are important because, you know, all people are basically important. And it's amazing how we can learn from those who apparently have nothing to teach. Well, there is one person who is smarter than anyone, and that's everyone. And if we can remember that, who knows where that really great idea is going to come from. I think all of us have heard this story, but it bears repeating at this point. A big trailer tractor got stuck underneath an overpass. They brought in the engineers and the experts, and they were trying to figure out a way about how they could get this thing on through. I mean, it was really stuck. They estimated that it would take hours and hours and cost thousands and thousands of dollars to dismantle part of the bridge or part of the truck. A little boy, about 10 years old, gave them the solution when he suggested they simply take a little air out of the tires, and the truck could drive right on through. I hope that's a true story. It is so good that it just has got to be true. But the point is obviously the same. We can learn if we are responsive and receptive and open from just about anyone. There is a sign, according to the experts, on everybody's chest. And the sign simply says, "Make me feel important." Not long after we moved to Dallas, I was speaking for an insurance company down at one of the major hotels. I was seated up front with a couple of the vice presidents on this side. That makes a total of 3 of us. And there were 3 people on the other side. I was seated in the middle. We sat down, and the waitress brought a salad, which is fairly standard in a banquet arrangement. And I said, "Well, thank you." We chatted back and forth with the vice president. She came back with a coffee and poured us some, and I said, "Well, thank you very much." In a few minutes, she came back with the entree, and I said to her, "You know, I really appreciate this, and I must commend you. It is amazing how effective and efficient you are in serving all of us, yet you never seem to be in any kind of a hurry, and you have such a good attitude about it all." And she said, "Well, my goodness, thank you very much. Well, that makes it all worthwhile." Dessert time came. They were serving ice cream with some chocolate syrup on it. Scout's honor, this is precisely what happened. The gentleman on either side of me got a little scoop of ice cream about the size of a golf ball with the chocolate syrup on it. I received one bigger than a baseball. It was bigger than my fist. Matter of fact, she could not even put it in the scoop. Well, it was such a dramatic difference that both of them said, "Well, Zig, you obviously know this lady." I said, "Well, I don't know her name, but I sure know lots about her." He said, "Oh, what do you know about her?" I said, "I know she's a human being, and I know that she's just responded in the way people respond when they have been appreciated. All I had done was say, thank you." Now, the statement, "You can have everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people get what they want," at this point might sound a little selfish. I obviously was not doing that because I expected to get a bigger scoop of ice cream. But she responded in the only way she could, say thank you. And I'm telling you that when you make people feel important, when you treat them as human beings, then you're going to be ahead of the game. I don't care what you're doing.